Are we going on?
Yeah. What's cooking, Sacramento? It's the Tween Comics Book Club back for another delicious episode. Today, our panel with our hosts Lindsay and Caitlin and special guest Lisa will be discussing Measuring Up by Lily LaMotte and Anne Shu. Take it away, Lindsay.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. So we're so excited because we are talking about a delicious book, Measuring Up by Lily LaMotte and Anne Shu, as Nathan mentioned. This book was so fun and had so much wonderful cooking and awesomeness in it. We're so excited to talk about it and share some of our own innovative recipes with you today. But before we do that, I wanted to give a quick announcement about summer reading. Yes, it is still going on. It is summer. If you read 5 books over the summer, come on in to any one of our libraries and you get a free book of your choice that you get to keep forever. We've got lots of comics and graphic novels for you to choose from, in addition to many other books. And when you read 25 books, you are ready for your Library Champion medal. So, which Caitlin is displaying the beautiful medal that you could win by just reading 25 books. So keep reading all summer long, log this book if you read it, and come on in and get your prizes. Okay, let's get into this wonderful book. But before we start, we have one more thing to do. We have to do our icebreaker. So since this book was all about cooking and wonderful foods and deliciousness, the icebreaker question is, if you could have any dish or meal right now, what would it be? Caitlin, let me start with you. What would
Okay. Thank you, Lindsay. And readers, if you have whatever meal you want to eat right now, let us know. Type it in the chat. Let us know what meal would you appreciate right now, because mine is going to be tough to beat. The meal I would like right now is an everything bagel with lox and chive cream cheese and tons of capers. That's it.
Capers?
Capers. They're like,
Capers.
Actually, I don't know what capers are, but they're delicious. And I put them on my bagels. Little tiny green.
Wonderful. Thank you, Caitlin. And I'm so sorry I forgot to mention, please, throughout our entire book club, we want to hear from you. So please put your thoughts, questions, and comments into the chat box. We love to hear what you have to say about any of this. So Lisa, let me turn it over to you. What would your meal be that you would like to eat?
My meal, I bake every year. I make a fruit pizza. Now, fruit pizza might sound really strange, but you take, and you can do this whether you're in the dorms. I totally did it when I was in the dorms too, that cut up fruit. So you take a sugar cookie or a chocolate chip cookie or something awesome, and then you take cream cheese and you sweeten it with a little bit of sugar and put it on top of the cookie, and then you put fruit on top and you eat it, and it's a perfection. You can make like patterns and beautiful things. And so I prefer it even more than cake on my birthday. So every January I make myself fruit pizza. And I think my favorite time was when we went into the dorms. They already had the sugar cookies. We just got cream cheese from the store, just sweetened it a little bit, melted a little bit in the microwave, and then put all the chopped fruit on top. We had pomegranates. It was like awesome.
That sounds delicious.
That sounds so good. So fancy. Well, readers in YouTube have suggested a couple things. We have scrambled eggs, strawberry shortcake,
yes,
burgers, mac and cheese, waffles, and tomato soup. And I have to say, I have a very refined palate as well. So I can't choose. I would either go with mac and cheese or cheese pizza. But it's fancy. So you have to put sliced basil on top.
You should have the whole trifecta. You should just have like a cheese plate with the cheese pizza on the side and the mac and cheese. That would be awesome.
That's genius. I love it. I love it.
Love all the ideas too. Thanks everyone for sharing your dream meals.
Whoever said burgers, you're making you want to go to In-N-Out after work today.
I love all those delicious choices. I am so hungry now.
Yeah.
Okay, so now it is time for us to do a book talk. Caitlin, for any readers who were not able to get to this book before our meeting and we're not able to read it, would you give us a little book talk about what this book is about?
Yeah. So, okay. Do you like delicious food? Yes, you do. And do you like reading about people that have incredible cooking skills? You will. And this is the book for you. It is called Measuring Up. And it is about a 12-year-old girl named Cece. And she and her parents have just moved from Taiwan all the way to the Pacific Northwest, Seattle. And Cece is really, really missing her ama, her grandma, so bad. And her ama is almost about to turn 70. And Cece wants her to be in Seattle so they can party and go to Pike Place Market and eat delicious food together. But the plane ticket is so expensive. So Cece's walking around town one day and she sees that there is going to be a kid cooking competition, and the prize is the exact amount of money that a plane ticket would cost from Taiwan to Seattle. So Cece decides to enter the competition. She is going to cook her way to glory, but she only knows how to cook Taiwanese food. And she's worried that might not be enough. That might not be what it takes to win this competition. So does she win? Do people eat the food? Are we going to find out what happens to Cece? You're going to have to read the book. It's amazing. It's Measuring Up.
Thank you, Caitlin. That was awesome. That was a wonderful book talk. And I have to just give a quick comment on that because Taiwanese food, what I have tried of it, is delicious. And people were kind of jerks in this book when she talked about Taiwanese food. And I thought that was that made me really mad. So
yeah,
I just want that out there. Okay, so let me see what we've got next. So next, that's a good segue into our discussion questions. We want to start with a question for our readers. So there's Cece and there's one of her friends in the cooking competition, Miranda. And both Cece and Miranda had different ideas of what they wanted in their lives than their parents had for them. And so this is our question for you readers, and we'd love you to share in the chat box what you think about this. Have you ever felt pressure like that from your parents? And what ways did you deal with it? How did Cece Miranda deal with it? So that's something we'd love to hear from you. You can answer any or all of those questions. There's a couple in there for you to choose from. So please share that with us in the chat box, and we will go through a few more questions, and we will get back to those in just a few minutes. So Lisa, while our readers are thinking on that and share their responses with us, I'm going to turn this over to you, and I've got another question for you. So food represents a lot of things to a lot of different people in this story. What do you think food means to Cece, and what about Miranda? Does it mean something different to her? What do you think?
I think for Cece, I think it means a lot more like just home, and she's just always excited to cook it. And so I think because of that, because her family cooks it and she regularly cooks, I think that's kind of where she's gotten her love of food. Whereas Miranda's a little bit more like, my father owns a restaurant, and there's all these expectations that kind of build up with that. And I think although she likes food, she also kind of views it a little bit more of it must be perfect. And coming from that home side that Cece has kind of curated versus sort of that juxtaposition with it has to be perfect and my father's going to expect things. I think they're coming from drastically different both cultures and ways that their families approach food. And I kind of loved those characters and how some of the other characters also approached probably bringing their own sort of food ideas to the table, because each of our families that we live with or each of our caregivers brings different types of, we kind of come with a different idea of what food means to us based on that. So I'd love also to hear how readers discuss that, but yeah.
Yeah, that's such a good point. They both come from different cultures and they have different expectations from their parents about what food is to them. That really changes how they feel about it. Thank you so much. That is such a great response. So we got a response from, I believe it's Ethan, E-Train. So Ethan said that he thinks that food is symbolic for Cece, and it reminds her of her grandma. But for Miranda, it feels that everything has to be perfect, and her father has to approve. So yeah, that's kind of along with Lisa said, that is exactly what I think too. Like for Cece, it's so tied into her grandma too. And that's such a wonderful connection for her to have. Thank you so much, Ethan. So let's go back to, are we ready to discuss our favorite panels?
Yes.
We'll check in with our readers and see if we have any responses for our other question. So let's see, we are going to start with Lisa today. Lisa, what was your favorite panel and why did you choose that one?
Well, I don't remember the page number. My favorite panel kind of included, there's a bunch of so it's panels, it's like a page, and there's all these pancakes that just keep on getting stacked and stacked and stacked as Cece is trying for the life of her to make up the perfect pancake. But alas, at the very end, she almost looks a little bit like sick and stressed over how many different pancakes she has made, because she's just trying to get it right and trying to get that food perfect. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I was a little bit of, especially in like high school, middle school, I like to get everything, like all of the A+ projects right. Like I was one of those students who just like to try and get everything perfect. But it kind of reminds me that like sometimes we just try and we just have to go with it. And when we don't always entirely go with it, sometimes we end up with a big stack of pancakes that like we indeed need to eat. Or life just hands us a stack of pancakes and it's kind of up to us to figure out what we want to do with it. So especially with the pandemic and some of those more stressful moments, I definitely look like Cece a couple times in that picture, kind of going, I wonder about those pancakes. So that one just kind of made me laugh a little bit. And maybe some of you guys can relate to and have had your own pandemic pancake moment, but that's been my experience.
Thank you so much. That was a great panel. I was going to choose that one too. I love that one. Caitlin, what about you? What was your favorite panel?
Okay, so superficially, my panel I think is just so beautiful because it's a mix of purple and pink, and it's ethereal. It's beautiful, and I just love it because Cece is right smack dab in the middle, and she's coming to a realization. Much like how food connects people, she found another bridge between cultures. She was so worried about how her friends would see the altar they have in her house for her ancestors and the offerings of rice and incense in front of it. She was so insecure and worried that her friends would think that was strange. But then she realizes one of her friends has something pretty similar too in her house. She has ashes on a fire mantle. So it's kind of a moment where Cece starts to understand that there's a lot more that they share and they have in common than makes them different. And I just love it. It's just so great. I just want Cece to just keep on making those realizations. And the purple and pink also looks so good.
Definitely. Yeah, for sure. I mean, moving to a new country and everything's so different, I can't even imagine how hard that must be. And just to be able to find those connections the way she did was so cool to see.
Yeah.
So my favorite panel is on page 126, and it is kind of the complement to Lisa's. And it is when her mom is helping her make the pancakes, and she shows her to use a a rounded sided pan instead of the square pan. And then she's able to get that perfect pancake flip. And then they're both smelling the pancake together. Oh, I just thought such a beautiful like moment of them collaborating to make this pancake. And I love how Cece's learning to cook is also like her parents was it the potatoes that they didn't cook with potatoes, so they didn't have any like context to help her with it, so they're kind of learning that too. And I love Julia Child, so just everything with that and how there's all the families coming together and helping and supporting each other and enjoying this process. It was just so beautiful. I love that so much.
That was an amazing panel. I love how she worked with her mom on that and just family together. So great.
Exactly. Oh, me too. And Ethan shared his favorite panel as well, which was on this one. I hope you can see it on page 96. Cece is in Miranda's spice cabinet at her house. There's so many spices. I don't know about you, Ethan, but I was like, oh my gosh, I want that house. I want to have a spice cabinet that I can walk into. That is amazing.
That is such a good panel. I didn't know there were that many spices. And then they found out that Cece was a super like taste tester person.
Super taster. I want
so cool. Great. Yeah.
I want to be one of those, just saying.
Me too. That's me with ice cream. I can taste test all the ice cream. So I offer that skill up to the world.
You can distinguish the little tiny flavorings in each ice cream.
Yes, the caramel, the vanilla. Yes, no problem. Yeah.
I'm going to test you next time. I'm going to bring some ice cream next time we all get together.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good.
You are up for the challenge. Well, let's go back to, and Ethan also said, Caitlin, that he thought he loved the lanterns on your panel.
Oh, yeah, the lanterns. Oh, it's just so sparkly. And it's just, it's a really great page.
Yes. So let's go back to that other question that we posed to our readers, and please continue to post any comments or answers to this. So the question was, both Cece and Miranda had different ideas for their futures than their parents wanted for them. How have you felt that pressure and dealt with it, and how did Cece and Miranda deal with it? So I think we did get one response from, let me double check here. Where did it go? Sorry, guys. Too many screens. We have a response from Marcia, who said that Cece loves to cook food, but her father has high expectations for her to have a good life. So, oh man, yeah, that was really hard. That was when your parents want something for you, then you want for yourself. I think that was really what was happening there. And I think, I'm sorry if I missed any other responses. I'm not sure that I saw them, but Caitlin, what are you thinking? What were you thinking with that question?
Oh my gosh, that pressure was so intense, and especially it was heartbreaking because all she wanted was her family to be back together again, but her dad wanted her to focus on school and grades, and they both were right. That is what was so heartbreaking about it. They both wanted the best for each other. But finally, Cece realized that she could communicate in a way that her father would understand how important it was that her Amma was with them to celebrate a momentous birthday. Mm-hmm. And they were essentially working for the same things, to have a good, happy life together. So, it was very stressful. And Cece did a really good job working out a way to communicate.
And I love that panel too, because she just does not know how to communicate it. And then she finds that just like communicating through love was the way.
I have the chills. It's so good.
So Ethan had a great response to this question too. He says that his mom really wants him to work hard and get into a good school and have a good job. And those can be really hard expectations to meet sometimes. And he kind of relates to Miranda. And I kind of feel the same way. I remember that. And that was a lot of stress and pressure. I put a lot of pressure on myself. My parents were like, stop, it's okay. You can get a B on a test. That's fine. I'm like, no, I can't. So I remember that pressure, and it was so stressful and so hard. And I think especially when different people have different ideas. They're all coming at it from love, and that can be hard to navigate sometimes. Let's see. Lisa, did you have any thoughts on that question?
Just the same as like, just those two, that was hard with just like, her dad was just very like, I think all of us have had a point in our life, whether it's ourselves or somebody else kind of taking like, and having some expectation for us that we maybe have a little bit of trouble meeting, or that's a little bit different than they want. So definitely. But I think that communication, or if you have somebody in your life that loves you enough and can listen and understand, I think that's the best thing about humanity, is just in the relationships that you can have with other adults and other peers, is that if you come with it through a sense of love, like that's going to get you further. So
sure, definitely. And Ethan said that he just tries his best to succeed, and that is perfect. That's all you can do. You try your best, and you're golden. You got it.
Perfect recipe. Yeah.
All right, well, friends, let's move on to our favorite section. It is time for trivia.
Woo!
Yeah, woo! Trivia Master Caitlin.
Yes.
Will lead us in the battle for today.
All right. Today's trivia is going to be pretty intense. We have Lindsay competing against Lisa. So, readers, help them out, or, go rogue and type in your own answers, whatever you'd like. Just type it in the chat. Let us know the answers to these very, very difficult questions. Are you guys ready for question 1?
yes.
Okay. Question 1. Cece's family moves from Taiwan to A, Sacramento, B, Santa Fe, or is it C, Seattle?
Oh no! I remember you said it in the book talk. And
I gave you a hint.
I got it.
Did.
Starts with an S. But they all start with an S.
Okay, lots of our YouTubers say C. Like I'm gonna go solidly with our YouTubers. Plus, I've like lived there before, so I'm gonna go with C.
Oh, okay. Well, I think I'm gonna do that too. Oh wait, what E-Train? Oh, Ethan's saying Seattle. Is that what C is? Seattle?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go with that.
All right.
They're very smart.
Final answers.
Seattle.
It's C, Seattle. You did it.
Yay! High five, Lindsay. Tie so far. Woo!
Good job, readers.
Yeah, the readers knew. They were so quick. Okay. All right. Well, this is going to get interesting. Okay. You guys ready for this doozy?
Yeah.
Question 2. This famous American chef inspired Cece. All right. Is it A, Guy Fieri or Guy Fieri, B, Julia Child, or C, the Swedish chef? And there's a bonus question too.
Ooh.
Can you name the Taiwanese chef who inspires Cece as well?
That's a tough one.
You guys, this one's good luck.
Well, I think that's a trick question because you said it was an American chef, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was a Swedish chef, so I don't think it's that one.
I agree as well. Not that.
Oh.
And Ethan is saying Julia Child,
Okay.
and YouTubers are saying B.
Okay.
I love Julia Child, and I remember her in this book, and I don't know. Do you remember, Lisa, do you remember Guy Fieri in this book? I don't remember.
I don't think so, but I've also heard of him like recently. So like go to Flavortown. I mean, I've got to say, like, I've especially like, I think, didn't he have a pop-up in Sacramento recently?
Yep.
I think he did with some of his like burgers. I think I'm going to have to go with him. I'm just saying.
I'm going to go with Julia, the queen of cooking.
Okay.
All right. Well, she's the queen, but he's the king. He's one of the kings. I'm just saying.
He is the king of Flavortown. So
It is. He is. So I'm going to go solidly with that.
all right. Well, I am so sorry, but the king has fallen to the queen. It is B, Julia Child. That is the answer. Well done.
Well done, Lindsay. Oh, I should have listened to our viewers. Shoot.
Yeah, they got that one too. Okay, and Ethan is saying, is the bonus her grandmother?
Ethan, how did you know?
That was a tough one.
That was so tough. I thought that was a tricksy one. Oh, wow. Good work. Yes. Her ama is the Taiwanese chef that inspires Cece because her ama has amazing spices and recipes. She's the best. So good answer. I'm amazed that the bonus question was answered correctly.
That was
Good job.
Wow. Okay.
All right.
This is intense, you guys. Lindsay's ahead by 1.
Okay.
And Ethan's winning because he got the bonus.
Ethan like surpassed us all.
And so is YouTube. Okay, so this is it, the third and final question. Okay. What is the winning dish of the Young Chef competition? This is the competition that Cece and Miranda are in.
Okay.
What is the winning dish? Is it A, oil rice or yu fan, B, cardamom cake,
Mm-hmm.
or C, banana pizza?
I mean, that sounds almost as good as fruit pizza, but I'm going to have to go with the A.
Okay.
I think banana pizza sounds very disgusting, honestly. I have to say.
Not if it's a fruit pizza, although I guess if you just have like banana on pizza, I do agree. That does not sound very exciting.
But it does sound like the kind of thing they would make in a cooking show. They always
Yeah, it would be like, and then it would somehow win because everyone's like so impressed with like the ambition or something like that.
Yeah.
Something like
So
that.
that's why that's hard because I would kind of want to say that because it sounds so gross. But our YouTubers and Ethan are saying A.
Okay.
And they haven't let me down yet, so I think I'm gonna go with that, even though apparently banana pizza is popular in Sweden. I don't think.
Oh, interesting. Okay. All right. So you're both saying A.
We'll saying A.
You are both correct. Woohoo!
Yes.
Double.
Oh my gosh, Caitlin, listen to this. Ethan says oil rice with a pinch of lavender.
Oh my gosh, you're right on that
Oh my
one.
gosh. Okay. So he got a bonus question that wasn't even a bonus question. Incredible. Okay. 1,000 points to Ethan, 1,000 points to YouTube. Lindsay, you are technically the winner, but because of good job.
Good job, Lindsay.
Oh, well done on trivia, everyone. Well done.
Thank you. That was quite fun. Okay, so friends, it is now time for our activity. I know normally we do a drawing activity to go with our comic book, but because this one has so much amazing and wonderful food in it, we just had to try doing a food activity. So we would love to hear what you would come up with as well. And if you try it out at any time, please tell us what you would have eaten or what you will try at one point in time and how you think it will taste, or if you try it, how it does taste, because that's the best part. Okay, so here's our challenge. Our challenge is to have 3 ingredients. You must have 1 type of carbohydrate, so that can be like bread or rice or pasta or a cracker or chips or something like that. And then 1 vegetable and 1 sweet, like a candy or sugary or something like that. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, so Caitlin.
Yes.
I'm going to start with you.
Mm-hmm.
What delicious dish have you concocted for us
Okay.
with these 3 ingredients?
Everyone, hold on to your hats. So, my carb is a rice cake. A little stale, preferably. My vegetable is a cauliflower. Yum. And then my sweet sugary item is a Jolly Rancher, aged 7 months, on a desk.
Beautiful.
And it is grape flavored.
Great flavor. Was that a good bouquet of Jolly Ranchers?
Yes, exquisite. This was a good year, 2008, when it was made. So yes, okay, I add that all together, and I have created a smoothie.
Is that a fancy smoothie? A
Yes.
smoothie?
Your smoothie.
Yes, the grape combines with the rice cake and cauliflower to create a decadent drink.
You know, that purple looks a lot like paper.
How does that smoothie?
But it's not.
taste?
So, so that is my recipe, and that is my creation.
That sounds disgusting.
That sounds disgusting. I would have to agree, but E-Train says sounds delicious, Caitlin. I would love to try it.
Oh, well, you are more than welcome to. It's hard to get these Jolly Ranchers, though. So,
Although honestly, I like his better. He says, although I would have broccoli and pasta with ice cream as a dessert, and I think I would probably rather have that than your fancy smoothie.
Yeah. I think so too.
touche to the smoothie. Good one.
Though I love Ethan's adventurous spirit.
Yeah, me
I
too.
love it so much. Okay, so we've got some people from YouTube saying they would make a pizza with bread, pineapple, and mushroom. Oh, that actually sounds really good. Like, oh,
Wow. Okay.
Well,
All
what about
right.
you, Lisa, what dish have you concocted for us today?
So I've heard in the past that you guys have done arts and crafts, and I am a children's librarian at heart. So I kind of took like the ant on a log idea and like expanded that, like pulled it out, because you guys said that you were going to go with all the creative stuff. So I did not want to disappoint.
Well, how can you compare with the smoothie?
The smoothie.
So I have my milk chocolate banana chip mix Yosemite Gorp that I have, and it has raisins in it and plantain chips and M&Ms, and it's fancy because I went to Yosemite recently. So I brought that from my home. And then of course I had to go to Sprouts and get like their vegetables, including most importantly carrots, because those are my fave. And I know this isn't a carb, but I needed something to put it onto my plate. So I have my almond butter, my fancy almond butter. And then the last thing, because how can you not have everything goes better in my opinion, or not everything, but a lot of things go better with crackers. So I not only like put together a thing, I concocted a piece of elementary school art.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
I took the crackers and adhered them to the plate with peanut butter, and I did the different gorp and made some beautiful patterning. And the antenna, so the body's made of a carrot with the two antenna being beans. And then I even gave it like a little eyeballs and a little kind of mouth with some of the bean stem in like. So this is my extra credit A+.
Yeah.
That is really impressive.
I'm like blushing because I'm so embarrassed about it.
So I went a little bit above and beyond, a little crazy with it, but well, I can't.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I can't cook for beans. I can do art, like I can put a charcuterie board together and be like, So
Yeah.
Wow.
Incredible.
I feel like I should have gone before you because
I should have never gone. Wow. Good job,
It's very cool. We also have someone from YouTube who said they'd probably make some kind of tamales with a lot of sweet potatoes, and a little hint of sugar.
Ooh, I want to come over there.
Ew, my gosh.
Brilliant.
Well, now wait for this
Okay.
epic culinary adventure that I have for us.
Oh, okay.
So I have brought with me some sourdough bread, slightly stale, some veggie chips, and some Ghirardelli chocolate squares
Mm.
and put them all together. You get a very fancy crudité or a crudite. I don't remember which one. One of those means vegetable. I don't remember which one. And I gotta taste test it because I want to see how these flavors. That's my favorite part of the cookie.
Oh, yes.
So let's see.
Bet you wish you had my smooth hay now.
I'm not gonna try my beautiful art, but I will for science try cinnamon, this and this all at once. Let's see how this tastes.
But I do not recommend that crudité.
The peanut butter makes it okay.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad one of us
I can
succeeded.
spit it out. I really want.
Oh
no. That's kind of gross though.
We all tried, and I would rather try the YouTubers tamales or
Those generally sound really good.
yeah, or the oil rice or the cardamom cake. Yeah, I think we should stick to just talking books, not being chef.
So are you saying librarians aren't? Well, librarians can be, but we are not necessarily the most amazing of cooks when we don't have an oven with us.
Yeah.
It is challenging when you can't cook anything. Well, that was very entertaining. All right. Thank you so much, readers and viewers, for your input on those. You guys are way better food preparers than we are. And finally, we have come to our read-alike section. So we all love this book. We hope you loved it too. And we have a couple suggestions of if you like this one, ones that you might also enjoy. So Lisa, let me turn it over to you. What is your read or watch alike that you would like to share with us today?
Okay, I went a little extra. I have not one read alike. I have 4 watch alikes. So I am a big fan. I'm better at watching cooking shows than actually cooking. I'm trying to get a little bit better at cooking. So I've gone so of course that you've probably seen MasterChef Junior. The latest edition on Fox is free. So you can go on and watch it online on Fox, MasterChef, like www.fox.com/masterchef/junior. And then, so that's like, because it's kids and they're getting to cook, and like sometimes on teams, sometimes individually for the top spot, for the top dish. And it's like preteens and teens, like it's fun. Like they know how to cook and they know how to cook way better than I ever could. I want them to come over and make me a meal. So that's MasterChef Junior. Nailed It is another one on Netflix. This is more my style of cooking. So Nailed It, if you haven't seen it, there's not just Nailed It. There's Nailed It like Mexico. There's Nailed It other ones. And it's fantastic. So Nailed It, there's 3 people that come on, and they're contestants who have various levels of cooking skills, and baking skills rather. So they try to put together something that a chef has made in like a couple hours. They have 30 minutes. Or an hour on the clock to make the same dish. So it might be like a cake pop, and they have to like construct a cake pop. And then they're judged based on their construction by a round of 3 judges. So also fantastic. If you're a little bit more refined in your palate, but don't like the yelling of the cooking show genre, I recommend The Great British Bake Off. It's both, it can either be sometimes found on PBS, but often it's also found on Netflix. And The Great British Bake Off has a couple of spin-offs. I think there's even there's one from Africa right now that I found. So if you like The Great British Bake Off, there's also a kid version of The Great British Bake Off and various celebrity things of The Great British Bake Off, which is again, baking and refined British judges judging your stuff along with random hosts. The hosts for the last one were a little bit controversial, but overall it's a great watch. Great British Bake Off on Netflix. Lastly, it's more of a YouTube. I don't know who else is into the Try Guys, but I am all about the YouTube and all about the Try Guys. They have this series that they have done for the past several seasons called Without a Recipe. And they go in and they make food, but they make it without a recipe. So they have done anything and this latest season, they're actually going to start every Saturday once a month in July, or once a week in July, and every Saturday they're gonna release a new one on YouTube. And they're gonna make things like macaroons or a bunch of other baking and cooking. Like I think there was one that they've done ice cream before. They've done a pie. That was one of their first ones, with some Christmas pies. And they do it without a recipe. So sometimes the judges have to choke over what they've baked. Sometimes they just downright insult it. And sometimes they give them the like thumbs up and clap. They got it correct. But that was just by some miracle and not necessarily their cooking prowess. So. That's my last one. It's called Without a Recipe by the Try Guys, found on YouTube.
Oh my gosh, that one sounds so good. I have not seen that one. That sounds really fun. A lot of our YouTubers loved Nailed It. I agree. I laughed so hard. Oh my gosh.
Nicole Byer is the funniest human being. She is the best. She's the best.
And those bakery creations, they're just terrible.
Yeah.
And it's just
really
wonderful to watch.
Really.
Okay, so I also have, thank you for those wonderful watch-alikes. Those are all so much fun. I have a read-alike. It's another graphic novel, and it's called Almost American Girl by Robin Ha. So this is actually a teen graphic novel, so it's very similar to Measuring Up, but Robin is a teenager in this, so it's kind of like one level up. And it's about her memoir of her teen years when her mother suddenly decides that the two of them are going to immigrate from Seoul, Korea to Huntsville, Alabama. Very different cultures. So like I said, this book is very similar to Measuring Up in many ways. Like Cece, Robin is suddenly torn away from her friends and everything she knows, and then finds herself in the US, which is quite a culture shock compared to what she's used to, especially in Huntsville, Alabama, which is very, very different than her life in Korea. And like Cece, Robin also is able to kind of find friends and connections with other people through something that really connected her to her life in Korea. And for Cece, that was cooking. But for Robin, it was comics. So she is able to kind of find her community and her people and kind of something that connects her to her life in Korea through comics. So Robin's journey, like I said, Robin's journey from Korea's start to the US starts at a slightly older age than Cece's move from Taiwan to China. So Almost American Girl is great if you're looking for a book that's kind of the next step up from Measuring Up. And Robin also has to navigate some challenges that are different from Cece. Like she has a new step family, and her relationship with her mother is starting to change. She's coming to a new country with very little knowledge of English, so she really has to learn it from scratch. But overall, if you love Measuring Up, I think you will also really enjoy Almost American Girl by Robin Ha. I highly recommend that one as well. So I think that's all we have for you guys today. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining us today. Please join us again next month. We are going to be discussing The Crossover, the graphic novel by Kwame Alexander. If you read the novel, that's okay, but the graphic novel is even better because it's got all the pictures in it. The text is pretty much the same, but it is a wonderful book. I can't wait to discuss it. August 13th, 4 o'clock Pacific time. Please join us to discuss The Crossover. Thank you so much for joining us today, readers, and we hope to see you all next time.
Cheers.
Thank you guys. It was so much fun being here as a guest. Thanks.
Everyone enjoy your smoothies.
Smoothie.
Smoothies. I'm going to skip the smoothie.